Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the middle of January of 2022. As we approach the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 4, there's been a lot of people that have been really expressing mixed reactions over the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 3, The Streets of Mos Espa. By the way, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts below in the comments on the Book of Boba Fett Chapter 3 and what you really thought about all of it. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, I am on Twitter at Mike01 if you guys want to go ahead and give me a follow on there. I do post a couple of entertaining things from time to time and really make sure to interact with you guys further. So, given that we have, of course, the Mandalorian Season 3 that's already in the works, we have the Ahsoka Tano TV series that's all set and ready to begin filming by this April. There's a lot of things at hand now of what's really happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm when it comes to multiple Star Wars TV shows that are being worked on. Now, there's one in particular, obviously, that a lot of fans are not necessarily looking forward to, and that is the Acolyte TV series by Kathleen and leslye Headland. We've already talked about that, but one thing about John, George, and Dave is that they really do have a lot of tricks up their sleeve as to exactly what they are able to do to really build Star Wars from the ground up, to really impress the fans, and to really kind of take fans by surprise to a different level than what we would have never really expected, to be honest. That's exactly what George, John, and Dave are trying to do. They're trying to bring the entire feeling of surprise back into the franchise, just as they did with the Mandalorian Season 2's finale. So, moving on past all of this, what's really exciting has everything to do with what, of course, is going on with everything that there has to do with George, John, and Dave developing all of these new Star Wars projects, which, by the way, the unannounced ones will be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration this year. That's all going to take place in May. So, moving on with this, of course, with both Disney and Lucasfilm primarily focused on their new Star Wars TV shows like Ahsoka and Kenobi, they are also working on the new Star Wars films that will be announced at Star Wars Celebration and more. However, it's described that currently many adjustments are being applied behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm in order to regulate the franchise and build it from the ground up. However, it's noted that in a recent interview with Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Chapek went on to speak for George Lucas and what he told him to tell the Star Wars fandom. Chapek goes on to state that myself and George have been in extensive conversations about how the future of Star Wars should be treated and respected toward the fans. One thing that Lucas wanted to warn to the fans that will be delivered by myself is that he wanted to warn the fandom that he, John, and Dave are going to be bringing back the expanded universe from so many years ago that has and holds endless source material. Lucas wanted to tell the fans that they will be using legends to tell big stories that will contain engaging twists and turns that will create a warp on how fans view the original and sequel trilogy movies as well. It's something that they will be utilizing to tell these great stories and to provide such revelations that will create big changes, especially for the sequel trilogy films, and is something that he wanted to warn to the fans that the return of Star Wars Legends will in fact not be 100% accurate to the books and such. Bob Chapek goes on to deliver Lucas's message, stating that what his mission is with John and Dave is to deliver multiple experiences that will fit into the already existing canon and ways that they are able to change key sequences of certain pieces of lore to better evolve the Star Wars franchise to pay respect to the fans. Now, one thing that Chapek, alright, is able to tell the fans here about what George Lucas had told him to deliver is that what George Lucas is trying to really warn the fans beforehand is that the return of the expanded universe is not going to be 100% accurate to its core. And I understand that, given that the sequels already exist and given that there are a lot of other projects out there that really shifted the timeline and everything that comes before or after the Skywalker saga or even in between, based on all the projects and books and comics that were already created under Disney's wing, that already kind of shifted a lot of things, so they really have to compensate with that, and they really have to, work a little bit with that, is what George is trying to tell Chapek to tell to the fans right now. Now, on to everything related to what George, John, and Dave are planning with the Ahsoka Tano series. Now, this is where things begin to really pick up, and how it's really going to dive a little bit more into Legends and how they're going to be able to use the World Between Worlds as a way to tweak things, to make room and to make way for Star Wars Legends to return. So we're going to get into that right now. So on top of that, additionally separate from all of this and what Lucas has planned with Favreau and Filoni, is that they are involved with the Ahsoka Tano series, which is prepared to take advantage of the sequel trilogy movies that, of course, some of the sequel fans may dislike. They will be taking advantage of the World Between Worlds. This mysterious realm is set to undo certain events in the sequel trilogy movies, where it's currently unknown exactly what plot elements from the sequels will be changed. However, George, John, and Dave are doing something quite extensive in the Ahsoka series with the World Between Worlds in order to strictly focus on changing Star Wars history. Back to what Chapek has to say about Lucas's message, he goes on to say that the return of Legends will play a large role in altering the history of the brand that so many fans have supported over the years, and that we as creators are looking at every option available to really improve the fun in this galaxy far, far away, to better the direction and treatment of the series that we adore so much and only want to do what's best for the franchise and for the fans as well. So, the thing about this as well is that the World Between Worlds, I don't know if you guys have seen the Star Wars Rebels episode. I highly, highly suggest you guys go ahead and check it out beforehand, before the Ahsoka series drops next year. Because it is something that is so very important, because they will be taking a lot of control over that in the Ahsoka Tano series. It's going to be one of the main plot elements in the TV show, and it's going to be one of the main focuses in the Ahsoka series. So keep your eyes open for that, because once that show drops, they're really going to be doing something quite expansive, something very, significant in a sense, to the point where it is going to take a lot of key sequences in the sequel trilogy, in the original trilogy even at that, and it's going to alter some aspects about all of this. Now, obviously, Lucas warning us toward, of course, Chapek to deliver this message is actually key, because it shows us that they're really trying to respect the fans and let them know ahead of time of what they're really pre-planning and what they're really trying to do with everything that involves the Star Wars lore, and how it's going to be altered to really kind of change history and to kind of compensate for what already exists. The other thing about all of this as well is that when you look at George Lucas, this is a guy that is working very closely with Favreau and Filoni on projects like Mando Season 3 and the Ahsoka series and even the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV series. He worked very closely with Deborah Chow, believe it or not, on how the character of Obi-Wan is to be established and how Vader, the new version of Vader, is to be established as well, because we're going to be getting a brand new side to the character of Vader that we have never seen before in the movies or in Rogue One. So, like I say, guys, I think that George, John, and Dave, they're really on a roll. The fact that they will be changing aspects using the Ahsoka Tano series, using the World Between Worlds, and the fact that they will also be bringing back Star Wars Legends in the mix in a very detailed way that's going to be used to really kind of just give us that new baseline, that new balance of Star Wars. Now, though he did warn us that it's not going to be 100% accurate, and I understand that, but it's going to be used as accurate as possible to really enlighten the fans. So, anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.